Hi everybody, it's Sminty with our Thursday report for YourNews.com Detroit. I've got the radio ratings. You've probably already read the text part of this message that runs with our video, but here's what the ratings look like. Once again, I'm concentrating on the age 25 to 54 demographic, which is key to advertisers and pretty much for most stations the most important score that they get. Number one was WDVD with a 7.4, up from a 7.0. There are several stations that I'll point out to you did well, largely by concentrating on the music of Michael Jackson following his death, so this month's ratings are a little bit skewed. Second was WRIF, which went from a 6.7 to a 7.0 overall. That, of course, a lot of that was driven by the return of Drew Lane in the morning. Third, another Jacko station, WKQI, went from a 5.6 to a 6.2. Fourth place, WXYT, went from a 7.3 to a 6.0. Part of that drop can be attributed to the fact that there were no Red Wings playoff games after the first week of June, and in July the Tigers didn't do all that well either, so hockey apparently was a big part of their rating surge. WJLB urban station went from a 5.5 to a 5.6. Not a lot of Jackson action there, but some. Sixth was WDRQ, which is, of course, is one of the more interesting stations. Get a 5.4, have no overhead because they have no air personalities. Sixth, WDRQ, I'm sorry, that was seventh, WYCD. Country went from a 5.0 to a 5.1. WMXD went from a 4.5 to a 5.0. WCSX went from a 4.8 to a 4.4. A lot of that was in the morning with Dominski and Doyle's audience apparently being siphoned off somewhat by Drew Lane. And in 10th place was WOMC with a 4.1. 4.1, same thing that they had a month ago. In the mornings, number one was WRIF. Mike Clark and Drew Lane went from a 8.4 in June to an 8.7 in July, and by numbers that are trending in, should probably be above the 10 mark for August. Second place was WWJ, which went from a 5.7 to a 6.2. Interesting because WWJ's summer ratings tend to be a little lower as winter weather and driving questions tend to drive their ratings. Third, WDVD, 5.6 to a 6.1. Blaine and Lisa, a station that has really done well over the last 3 years with an intelligent music mix and using air personalities that don't alienate. Fourth place, WKQI, Mojo in the morning, 5.2 to a 5.8 as they introduce a new cast member in the morning. Fifth, WJLB, Coco and Friends, 5.6, stayed at a 5.6, as did WXYT, Jay Towers and Bill McAllister, tied for fourth, also with that 5.6. Seventh place, Dr. Don on Country, 99.5, went from a 4.7 to a 5.1. WDRQ, again, the station with no personality, went from a 4.6 to a 5.0 in the morning. People who want a intense music mix in the morning. Ninth place, WMXD, that would be Steve Harvey, went from a 5.5 to a 4.9, a drop for Steve, which is interesting because I think he had some conversations about Michael Jackson, but talk as opposed to listening to Jackson's music didn't translate quite as well for him. 10th place, Dominski and Doyle at WCSX went from a 5.1 to a 4.5. That's a number we need to keep an eye on in the next month to see if that continues to happen. Could be problems for WCSX. 11th place, WNIC FM, a station that has pretty much dropped a live personality except for the morning show, and of course changed morning personalities. They got rid of Chris Edmonds, brought in Kevin O'Neill, and teamed him up with Lisa Berry. Surprisingly strong number, 11th, from a 3.9 to a 4.4 in July. And 12th place was Dick Purton on WOMC, had a 3.6 in June and duplicated that in July. That's Sminty's radio report. We'll be back with our column on Friday.